Chris, what is our first main topic today?
Our first topic comes from Greg. On Tuesday, the Academy announces the nominees for this year's Oscars. I was hoping you guys could give your final predictions about who gets the nominations and who you think will end up winning. Got to fill out my Oscar ballot soon, so I need the inside scoop. Thanks, and bring on the filthy.
Yeah, so tomorrow, clearly early in the morning, tomorrow, the Oscar, at least early for us here on the West Coast, the Oscar nominations come out. So it's our last shot here to give our predictions. So I'm about to give you the ironclad locks. These are, I don't know, if I end up being 70% right, I'll be impressed. But we're going to go, now we're not going to go over all 20 some odd categories. We're going to instead cover the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 main categories, okay? We're going to do adapted and original screenplay, supporting actor and actress, lead actor and actress, a director, and best picture. So we're going to start off with best adapted screenplay. Here is who I believe are going to be the 5 nominees. In the category best adapted screenplay, I believe it's going to be Women Talking by Sarah Polley, All Quiet on the Western Front by Edward Berger, Leslie Patterson, and Ian Stokell, Glass Onion and Knives Out Mystery by Ryan Johnson, She Said by Rebecca, and I'm not going to dare attempt her last name because I'll butcher it, I'm sure, and Living by, that's not the right, his name is not Kazoo. Something got lost in translation there. Anyway, Ishiguro, who wrote Living. That's the one with Bill Nye. All right. So these are the films that I believe will get the nomination for Best Adapted Screenplay. I believe the win for it is going to go to Glass Onion. I think the Oscar is going to go to Glass Onion. Might be Living, but we're not here to pick winners, but these are who has. Rob, how does your list is similar or is different than mine?
I'm going with Living. I loved Living, and I love the Kurosawa original, but I think that and Mr. Ishiguro did a great job. My follow-up to that would be All Quiet on the Western Front, because they made some really interesting changes from the original source material, and I thought the movie was shattering. But I think Living's going to take it.
Which of the films on here, like how does my list of what I think the 5 that are going to be nominated differ
I think
from
you're
yours?
bang on.
You have the exact same 5.
Yeah, I think that those are great. That's a great list. I mean, there's so many great screenplays that have come out, but I do think, that's adapted screenplay.
This is adapted screenplay.
But isn't Glass Onion original?
No, because it's based on the first. This is a sequel.
Oh, right, it's a sequel. Right,
Sequels are considered adapted.
Okay, well then, yeah.
Chris, how does your list? Does your list look any different than the one we've got up
Pretty
here?
much bang on here. It's Kazoo, Kazou.
Yeah. Oh, you. That's right. I knew it wasn't
Living.
2 O's.
Yeah, because it's based on like the Ikaru, which is Kurosawa, I think. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah, I still have to watch that one. I have my screeners. I'm very excited to watch that. Without seeing that, I think Glass Onion has a really great shot since it was so well received before. People really, really love this. But then I think She Said actually has a lot of potential here. I know almost no one saw this film.
Nobody saw that movie.
But man,
Except
I
me.
urge all of you to go out there and see it, though, because I do think it's really, really well done. And it takes the story and presents it in a really, really great way of mostly just the facts, honestly, of playing recordings and doing things. And I think it gives you a really great perspective. And I think it's executed very well.
And the performances were fantastic.
Oh, yeah. Carey Mulligan in particular is astounding in that.
All right. So that's your picks for Best Adapted Screenplay. Now let's go over to Best Original Screenplay. My ironclad locks for original screenplay: Everything Everywhere All at Once, The Banshees of Inisherin, The Fabelmans, The Menu, and Tar. Those, I believe, are your locks. And I think you're going to see the screenplay go to Banshees of Inisherin. I think that's going to take it. I would personally vote for The Fabelmans, but and the outside one, I'm not feeling 100% confident that The Menu is going to get the nomination, but that is my dark horse pick for here. Rob, you see the list I've got up here? How's yours different from mine?
Okay, I picked Everything Everywhere All. This for me was a tie. Everything Everywhere All at Once and Tar. I'm a huge Tar fan, and Todd Field, I thought just knocked it out of the park with that film. But those are the two that I think are going to one or the other. But then again, this is Tony Kushner obviously is an incredibly lauded screenwriter and playwright. I mean, he's
done a lot of work with Spielberg.
A lot of work with Spielberg. He wrote Munich. And Banshees of Inisherin's great. This is a really and you know what, the menu, I didn't think about the menu, but that could very well show up. But I think this is a really strong. I think you pretty much nailed it.
Mm-hmm.
Chris, what about you?
Yeah, this is a solid list. I think it's going to go to Banshees. Marm it down. Come on. He's got it.
I think he's going to get that one too. All right. Now we move on to we'll get into some of the performances here. We'll get off started here with Best Supporting Actress. I believe we are looking at Angela Bassett for Black Panther Wakanda Forever, Hong Chow for The Whale, Carrie Condon for The Banshees of Inisherin, Jamie Lee Curtis for Everything Everywhere All at Once, and Michelle Williams for The Fabelmans. So that's what I've got in there right now. I believe this is if you had to pick the one category, well, there are two this year that are, look, you might as well just mail them the award. I believe it's Angela Bassett for Best Supporting Actress, and I believe we're not going to talk about Best Visual Effects, but it's obviously going to be Avatar: The Way of Water for Best Visual Effects. So, I mean, the one... I'll go into this in a second. Anyway, Rob, what do you think about the list? Who would you have on there?
Angela Bassett. No question in my mind.
But is there anybody missing off this list? You think that I think?
No, I mean these are. I think that all of these performances. I could see. Because all of these are the ones that everybody's talking about. They're on everyone's list, and there's a reason for that. I mean, I think Michelle Williams' performance in Fabelmans was a little too showy. But I could see if Angela Bassett doesn't take it, and the only reason I think that she might not is because she's in a comic book movie. And I think there's a lot of people that might. And I think that Jamie Lee Curtis has an outside chance of winning because she's so beloved within the industry.
The one I struggled with was Hong Chow for The Whale. I think if I could go back and change my list, I think I might put Carey Mulligan from She Said in her spot. Mm-hmm. But again, this is probably the ones that are going to get picked up here. Chris, what do you think about the list? Do you see any that shouldn't be on there? Am I missing anybody in particular?
See, this feels right, but like you just said, Carey Mulligan feels like she shouldn't be on here. I also have been curious as to why Stephanie Hsu, is that how you say her last name? From Everything
Everywhere?
Yeah, I've been really missing her from all the award nominations. I really figured she'd get something because
there's a lot of talk about her too.
Yeah,
you know what the struggle with that is that there's more talk for Jamie Lee Curtis for the same category from the same movie.
Yeah.
Now, there's no rule in the Oscars that says you cannot have two people competing in the same category from the same movie. No rule against that at all. But I think most of the attention for Everything Everywhere will go to Jamie Lee Curtis. But again, it's probably all moot anyway because we all know it's going to go to Angela Bassett, and rightfully so.
Yeah.
And rightfully so. All right. We move now on then to Best Supporting Actor. And in the Best Supporting Actor, here are going to be your nominees tomorrow, I believe. I believe we are looking at Ki-Hugh Kwan for Everything Everywhere All at Once, Paul Dano for The Fabelmans, Brendan Gleeson for The Banshees of Inisherin, Barry Keoghan for The Banshees of Inisherin, and Judd Hirsch is kind of my dark horse on the outside there. You know what? All the awards have been going to Ki-Hugh Kwan. And I would say 51% he's probably going to win.
He's got the momentum.
Mm-hmm.
He's got the momentum. But I would give 49% to Brendan Gleeson and 0 to anybody else. I think it's a two-horse race. Even though I think Paul Dano was brilliant in Fabelmans, I think it's going to come down to that, but it's probably going to be Ki-Hugh Kwan. What do you think?
I think it's going to be Brendan Gleeson. As much as I think that Ki-Hugh Kwan is who's great in the movie and everything, I still think that Brendan Gleeson, because Banshees of Inisherin is going to be one of it could sweep.
Yeah, that if any film has the potential of being like a sweeping film at the Oscars, I don't know that any will, but if any one of them does, it is Banshees.
Because when I think about the Academy, I'm thinking about the Academy voters. They do still have a lot of older people. And Banshees of Inisherin is the kind of movie that older Academy voters move towards, as opposed to a lot of people, Everything Everywhere All at Once, people don't dig it. The older people, the audiences, even though I love the movie, there's a lot of people that don't. The multiverse concept is a little too crazy.
It's bonkers. The movie's bonkers.
It's bonkers. So, but Banshees of Inisherin, there's something about...
but this is about the performance, not the movie as a whole,
but that's what I mean. But both of those movies that movie does not work without Brendan Gleeson and Colin Farrell together.
Agreed.
And so I think that I could see them both taking it.
All right. What do you think, Chris? Any names missing from the list? Anybody you don't believe belongs on there? And who do you see winning?
No, I mean, the only name missing from other awards has been Brad Pitt. But I think that these folks are much better suited for this category this year. Because I know there was some buzz about him with Babylon, but I think these gentlemen take the cake. And it's Kia Kwan. Come on.
Yeah, he's winning everything right now. So all the momentum
and
is there.
he's so good in this.
He is.
But Brendan Gleeson, I think, turns in the performance of his lifetime, to be honest with you.
He's
But-
wonderful in that.
All right, let's move on to best. Let's get into the lead performances now. We're going to start with best lead actress. Cate Blanchett for Tar, Ana de Armas for Blonde, Michelle Yeoh for Everything Everywhere All at Once, Danielle Deadwyler for Till, Olivia Colman for Empire of Light. I don't like that movie so much, but Olivia Colman, as always, is just stupid good in it. But it's, look, not as much as I'll lock as Angela Bassett for Best Supporting Actress, but I think it's a 90% chance Cate Blanchett wins this, 10% chance anybody else wins it right now. So that's how I got it, Rob.
I agree with you, but I'm going to say something. Daniel Deadwyler's performance in Till is a knockout. I mean, the problem is the movie doesn't have the momentum, but I mean, this movie is her film, front and center, and her performance is incredible, and it's heartbreaking, and it's moving, and I don't think I'll ever forget her performance in that movie. And I think that could be an upset, but I do think Cate Blanchett's going to win.
Chris, what do you think?
I keep hearing how Cate Blanchett's going to win, and I don't care. I'm still going to say Michelle Yeoh. Still going to say it. I believe in Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I would be thrilled if Michelle Yeoh won it, but I'm also going to be thrilled. Like Cate Blanchett, it's not like, well, Michelle Yeoh really deserves it, but they gave it to Kate. No, Cate Blanchett, I think, deserves it. I think an argument can be made that Michelle Yeoh, but I think it comes down between the two of them. I think it comes down to the two, but it'll be interesting to see. All right.
Blanchett's just always here, though, because she's so good. She's a consummate performer, and she's so consistent. But it's Michelle Yeoh is well past her due of getting this. I want her to have it.
I don't know that I'd say she's past her due for because I can't think of any other movie where she straight up deserved to win the Oscar. But I mean, you know me, I love Michelle Yeoh. I've loved her for so long. But you're right. The Cate Blanchett thing is there because it's kind of like with the Tom Brady New England Patriots. Everybody get tired of the Patriots always being in the Super Bowl. Well, hey, that's what happens when you're the best. That's what happens. That's what Cate Blanchett, when you're the best, you're going to always be in that conversation. All right. Guys, we want to thank a sponsor of this video, Mint Mobile. If saving more and spending less is one of your top goals for 2023, why are you still paying insane amounts of money every month for your phone bill? Switching to Mint Mobile is the easiest way to save money this year. As the first company to sell premium wireless service online only, Mint Mobile lets you order from home and save a ton, with phone plans starting at just $15 a month. Guys, I have told you before that when I was on one of the major phone carriers, I was spending literally 3 times as much every month, and switching to Mint Mobile couldn't have been easier. So for people just looking to save some extra money this year, Mint Mobile offers premium wireless for just $15 a month. All plans come with unlimited talk and text plus high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. You can use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and switch easily in just minutes with eSIM. To get your new wireless plan for just $15 a month and get the plan shipped to your door for free, go to mintmobile.com/Campea. That's mintmobile.com/Campea. Cut your wireless bill to just $15 a month at mintmobile.com/Campea. We go on to the lead actor discussion here. I believe your 5 nominees are going to be Austin Butler for Elvis, Brendan Fraser for The Whale, Colin Farrell for The Banshees of Inisherin, Bill Nighy for Living, and I'm going to say Adam Sandler for Hustle. Mm-hmm. I think he's got some momentum in the Oscars this year. Now, I don't believe that Bill or Adam have any real chance of winning. I think it's going to come down to Colin Farrell and Austin Butler with an outside chance for Brendan Fraser, but I think it's going to go to Colin Farrell on this one. Is there any actor that you think was in this category that maybe I should have on this
No,
list?
I think that, I mean, that's, to me, it's just three actors, like you said. Bill Nye was great in Living, but I again,
he
it's-
makes the movie. He absolutely makes that movie.
He makes the movie, but also the difference is, you know, you still have to talk about the overall effect the film is having on audiences, and I think that Elvis, The Whale, and The Banshees of Inisherin are the movies that people are talking about, and I just think that Colin Farrell, again, Austin Butler was amazing as Elvis, amazing. You know, he was incredible, but it's a very showy performance. Brendan Fraser is really heartbreaking in that movie, but again, I just wonder if the voting body is the kind of, I think The Banshees of Inisherin is the kind of movie that people gravitate toward, especially older Academy voters. And Colin Farrell delivers that classical Academy Award caliber performance in that movie. It's incredible.
Chris, what do you think?
I agree with these picks, but I think it should go to Brendan Fraser. I mean, his performance is so wonderful and nuanced and lovely and heartbreaking. And Colin Farrell is amazing in Banshees of Inisherin. I don't know if that holds a candle to that performance, though.
Yeah, and also he's
it's all
wearing-
subjective, obviously, but
He's wearing how many pounds of prosthetics and still performing the way he's
Mm-hmm.
performing? It is pretty extraordinary.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, listen, that's why I have no beef with any of those three.
Yeah.
Like Austin Butler, Brendan Fraser, they read out any one of those three names, I have no problem with that.
Absolutely.
I would personally give it to Colin Farrell. There's just something about his performance in it that actually just made him and Brendan Gleeson both, that just made that world real to me. But again, it's the performance, a career-defining performance that Brendan Fraser gives. I'm gonna have no problem with any of those three. I'll raise an eyebrow a little bit if anybody else other than those three, but I could see that. All right, now we move into the two big ones. We're gonna start with Best Director. And I believe your nominees tomorrow for Best Director, we're going to hear the names: Steven Spielberg for The Fabelmans, Baz Luhrmann for Elvis, Joseph Kosinski for Top Gun Maverick, Todd Field for Tar, Daniel Scheinert and Daniel Kwan for Everything Everywhere All at Once. Now, some people might be surprised that I'm putting Joseph Kosinski in this, but listen, you know how much I love Top Gun Maverick. I've been raving about it since they first showed me bits of it a couple of years ago at CinemaCon. And it's not the strongest story. That movie is all direction. Like, I contend Top Gun Maverick is all direction.
And cinematography.
Yeah, well, which to me goes hand in hand with the direction, right? So, like, considering that and what an achievement it is, I really believe Kosinski's going to get, I think that the director's branch is going to put him on, because remember, the director's branch is who puts together the nomination list. Who wins is voted on by the entire Academy. But the individual branches put up, and I think the directors in the Academy are going to put him on there. I know that's a little bit of an outside shot, but the Academy Award is going to Steven Spielberg this year for The Fabelmans. What he was able to do as a director with The Fabelmans in making a movie that is deeply, deeply personal, and yet I found myself relating with all along. Like the struggles, being a young kid, having dreams, struggling with your perceptions of your own parents maybe changing and stuff like that. And as you go through that, as you're aging, like what Steven Spielberg was able to accomplish, first of all, he should have won Best Director too for West Side Story. But I think he's going to get it for The Fabelmans this year. I think a strong argument can be made for Todd Field for Tar. Obviously, a big argument for Baz Luhrmann for Elvis, because again, that movie's like all direction, man. But I think it's going to go to Steven Spielberg. Rob, what do you think?
Well, I want Todd Field to win because I love Tar, but I think the Daniels could take it.
Think so?
I
for
do,
Everything Everywhere.
Only
Again,
because
that's all direction.
It's
man.
all direction, and I think Top Gun Maverick's going to win cinematography. I really do. But Spielberg could take it. But I think that, Spielberg, even though he did such a wonderful job, I do think something like the Daniels is pretty revolutionary. I mean, I'd love to see Todd Field do it because he directed that movie, and I think it's a brilliant, brilliant, brilliant film. But I do think the Daniels could take it.
Now, to both of you, there's one that some people might be looking at this list right now and scratching their heads a little bit and saying, no McDonough for Banshees of Inisherin. I know he was nominated in a lot of the other in a lot of the other award ceremonies. And I put Joseph Kosinski in there instead, thinking they're going to give him the nod. I know this. I don't know.
McDonough's going to get a nomination.
So who do you think gets bumped off my list? If we bring up my list here again, who gets bumped off my list, do you think, for McDonough?
I think that if anyone gets bumped off this particular list, it's probably going to be Kosinski.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think if Kosinski, if McDonough does get on this list, it'll be at the expense of Joseph Kosinski.
Yeah.
I agree. I know. Chris, what do you think about this?
I mean, it makes sense. It's a good list. Yeah, Martin McDonough, I think, might end up on there.
And you also think the one that gets bumped is
It's
Kosinski?
Kosinski, yeah, absolutely. I really think it does come down between Spielberg and the Daniels, and I lean towards the Daniels. Fabelmans is beautiful and very personal and everything, but in so many ways, so is Everything Everywhere All at Once. It's such a beautiful story about family, and gosh, just the different bold choices they make, the different types of filmmaking that are involved in that film. I mean, you're switching genres, you're switching styles constantly. I think they're going to take it.
All right. I'll tell you what, though. Out of all 8 categories that we're covering here today, well, I'm telling you, Ironclad Lock, the one I feel most unsure about is the director one, because not only do you not have McDonough on there for Banshees of Inisherin, there's also a little guy by the name of James Cameron that I don't have on this list. And I don't feel real comfortable not having James Cameron on that list, because as we're about to see, I do believe this movie is his Avatar: The Way of Water is going to get nominated for Best Picture. And so I feel, but that's the thing. You got 10 nominees for Best Picture, only 5 nominees open for thing. But
Right.
I openly acknowledge right now that the Best Director list, my picks for getting the nominations tomorrow, is the one I feel most unsure about because of McDonough and because of Cameron. So I don't know. We'll see how that goes. All right. Let's get on to the final one now, the big one, the one that really matters. We're going to look at Best Picture. And here's who I believe are going to be your nominees for Best Picture. The 10 nominees for Best Picture are going to be Everything Everywhere All at Once, The Banshees of Inisherin, Top Gun Maverick, All Quiet on the Western Front, Elvis, The Fabelmans, Tar, Avatar: The Way of Water. By the way, these are in no particular order. Glass Onion, and The Woman King. Now, I think I would put the Ironclad Lock on the top 8 that I have in there. Again, these were not meant to be in any particular order. The question marks I think you put on Glass Onion and Woman King. These are 2 fabulous movies, but there might be a couple of others that sneak in there. I ultimately think, I do believe there is a chance that Banshees of Inisherin could walk away with like 7 or 8 wins. I actually think, much like Best Director that went to the Fabelmans, Steven Spielberg, I think Fabelmans takes home for a couple of reasons. One, I think it's the best film of the year. But number 2, going to your point, Rob, it's the kind of film that a lot of members of the motion picture industry love, this kind of storytelling, this kind of movie. So for that, I think the Fabelmans are going to take it. What do you think?
I think it's going to be Banshees of Inisherin. I really do. I mean,
I think that's my number 2 pick.
and I want Tar to win, but Tar isn't going to win as much as I want it to. I think Banshees of Inisherin is going to win. And if it's not Banshees of Inisherin, I think it could very well be the Fabelmans. But
All right.
I think it's going to be Banshees of Inisherin.
I think it's a 2-horse race right now between the Banshees of Inisherin and the Fabelmans. I would like to say it's a 3-horse race with Everything Everywhere. And if there was going to be a 3-horse race, I would say Everything Everywhere. But I think the 2 at the top are going to be the Fabelmans and Banshees. I don't know. What do you think about this, Chris?
I really want it to be Everything Everywhere All at Once, but I don't know if it'll take the cake. I also think that Babylon could be part of the discussion here. Again, it's gotten a lot of
There's a lot of talk about
acclaim
Babylon
it.
being on there.
And it's the kind, I know this is a silly reasoning, but it's the kind of movie that usually makes this list, right? It's a big spectacle. It's about Hollywood itself. So I think this could maybe knock out a Glass Onion or Woman King potentially. But I do think, like you guys, it's going to really come down to, kind of Fabelmans, Banshees, Everything Everywhere All at Once. I want it to be that, much like Coda's win last year, which I predicted and was correct
Yes, you
about.
did. You called Coda.
I was so proud. I think Everything Everywhere All at Once fills that category too, of being a film that is so joyful, there is a lot of heartbreak and there's a lot of, familial drama there. But it's a movie that at the end of it, you feel good and you want to call your mom and it makes you want to do something active in your life. And I think that's some of the best cinema when it actually inspires you to get up and do the damn thing. And I think that can be said too for Fabelmans and things like that. But it's just such a beautiful story that I really want it to get all the flowers.
Hey, listen, there's a reason Everything Everywhere All at Once was my #1 film of the year for like 10 months.
Yeah.
In that year. So, and listen, again, there's a number of films on this list that if they announce it as the winner, I will have no problems. Fabelmans, Banshees of Inisherin, Everything Everywhere All at Once. If it's not one of those three, I'm going to raise my eyebrow. But any of those three, I'm perfectly happy with.
I think another lock that we haven't talked about at all is best foreign language film, and I think it's All Quiet in the West.
Well, I mean, it's the only one that's going to. It's the only foreign language film that's probably going to get a Best Picture nomination.
Yeah,
So,
it's incredible.
so that'll probably take it. All right, guys. Question is for you. Tomorrow, we get it. We're going to get it. No more speculating. No more guessing. Tomorrow, we get the actual nomination list. What do you think? Do you think it's going to match up with the list that I just gave you here? Do you think it's going to be significantly different? Where do you see those changes happening? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts.